A very good week for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in particular last week. Back-to-back wins, firstly over Tottenham Hotspur and then at the home of the champions, Manchester City. Ali, how much do you think those two results have done in terms of settling the minds of some of the doubters? In fact, you yourself, you said in the break you didn't think that Ole should have gotten the job. When you see those types of performances, does it make you think again?
Absolutely, because I thought the result against Spurs was an excellent one. But what impressed me more, Jeff, was the actual performance and the way they performed at the Etihad against Manchester City. I thought they were, honestly, I thought they were top class. It really was a positive performance. They were on the front foot right from the word go. McTominay in the middle of the park, the boys up front were really bang at it. James looks a steal at whatever that was, 40 million. He was excellent. Rashford, I just think that performance, you know, the performance was actually better than the result in many ways for me. Because derby games, particularly Manchester City versus Manchester United, you can say a derby game can go anyway. But the level of performance that United put in that night, I thought was excellent.
It's not just the level of performance, Harry, but against the champions as well. I know Manchester City are not quite right by their tremendous standards right now, but that performance, particularly in the first half, I know it was a tight result, but as Ali said, that performance was extraordinary, wasn't it?
It was excellent. I mean, my confusion is, and we talk about the last two results is fantastic, but they're playing two top teams. Is why isn't this team turning up week in, week out? You know, that's the most probably the frustrating thing that you know Solskjaer's got to face. He's going, well, hang on a second, I've just beaten Spurs, I've just beaten Man City. Now he's probably thinking, am I going to win on the weekend? You know, what team, what is my front three going to turn up? Because if that front three played like that week in, week out, they would destroy 90% of the teams because they've got pace, they've got power, and we've got Martial who knows where the back of the net is. You know, Rashford can score goals, and James is, like you said, he's a fantastic player. He's got speed, he's got pace, he's got no fear. So these three players should be destroying.
Do you know what I think about United, lads? I'm looking at United, and I think they're probably better suited to playing better teams. And by that, I mean, they've had some great records, right?
Ali, you're 100% right. The stats bear out what you're saying. They're fantastic. They've not lost to a top six side this season. So
what does that tell you? The other teams
lift the games?
An element of that, but I think the opposition that they play against, they don't mind the opposition having the ball because they've got players now that are really, really good on the counter. I mean, we saw the pace they've got now up front. Is frightening with Rashford and James and Martial. The pace they've got. So I think it maybe suits them to sit back a little bit, as long as they can defend properly, which they have been doing against the top sides, and then go bang and then really hit you in the break.
Let's pick up on Marcus Rashford in particular, because after the game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked whether or not he could see similarities between Rashford and Ronaldo. And he said, yes, I can. I think I can see similar attributes, athleticism, body shape, and perhaps the most important one, attitude. Now, let's be clear now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't say, oh, I think that Marcus Rashford is the same as Cristiano Ronaldo. He was asked the question, and he said, I can see some similarities.
Look, I think you can. They're both quick players. They both can score. They've got that free kick. They've got pace. But again, it's
so
hard.
Is it not as far-fetched as maybe it sounds when we first say it?
Look, don't get me wrong. Solskjaer was there with Ronaldo, and obviously even Rashford was probably there as a youngster. So he's probably seen them. They've probably got all the same kind of data, you know, from when Ronaldo was there to what Rashford is now. So they're probably linking it up, and probably the comparison could be, you know. But again, it's what Ronaldo's done in the rest of his career is like frightening. So it's hard to say, you know, you can compare them.
No, you can't. The similarity, he probably didn't want to get asked that question.
I'm pretty sure he didn't either. Right. So it's interesting that he did offer, yes, he said, I can see certain things, athleticism, the body shape.
Right. So what are those things that he's mentioned? The three things that he's mentioned are very, very general, right? They're not specific. They're general. They're pace, athleticism, and that's difficult to argue with that because both players have it. But if you go into it in greater detail, you're talking about somebody that's one of the best players, arguably one of the best players ever.
He became.
Yes.
He became.
Yeah.
But what's to say that Rashford can't go and
Time will
become
tell.
the same?
Time will tell. But the similarities that Solskjaer's made there are very, very general, and I get that. And it's difficult to argue with it. Time will tell if he can go on to become one of the greatest players the world has ever seen.
Nobody's saying he's there now. But if you look at the statistics, quite interesting if you compare the two after the same stage, after 127 games for Manchester United.
Yep. OK, they're very comparable, right? I'll ask you two the question. Is there anything you see in Rashford at this moment in time that's going to tell you that he's going to go and play and win championships in Spain, Italy, and become one of the best players, arguably, the world's seen in the last 15, 20 years?
Well, he has been linked with a couple of clubs. And also, if we were sat here all those years ago and we said the same about Ronaldo, comparing him with a top player, we'd probably be
I take your point.
cynical about it as well.
Listen, I don't think I'm being cynical. I think I'm being realistic. I'm going to tell you right now, the one person right now that will hate that comparison is Marcus Rashford, right? He will not be enjoying this, us discussing this at all, because what he is, he's a fabulous player. He really is. He's a fabulous player, and we really enjoy watching him.
Yep.
Great pace, he's scoring goals. He will not be enjoying that comparison.
I think the one thing with Rashford, he wants to create his own legacy.
Of course he does.
He wants to create his own identity. He doesn't want to be compared to other players. And young players, if they want to be great players, they've got to bring their own style to the game. And that's the one thing that he would want to do.
Oh, let's be honest, it was a massive piece of bait, somebody looking for a story.
I know the game. I know the game.
Let's be completely honest here. Nobody is saying he is the next Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, absolutely. And as I say,
it was interesting. I just wondering out of idlement.
Well,
Marcus Rashford, is he a natural goal scorer?
Well, not for me. I think Martial's more natural than Rashford. There you are. I don't know how that wee hand grenade goes in, but I think Martial's more natural at finishing than Rashford. But I think Rashford will score goals and a lot of them.
I think Rashford's still finding out his natural position first and foremost, because sometimes he looks fantastic up top. Next to me, he looks great down below, and I don't think he is an out-and-out striker, because, like I said, he's got that ability to play. Yeah, he's got that ability to play out wide and kind of be anywhere deadly along the front line, which is great to have that kind of player. And again, I'd have to agree with Ali to turn around and say Martial's more of a natural.
It's funny, you get players, I don't know if you agree, Harry, you get players that will score as many goals in the left-hand side as they would an out-and-out centre-forward. And I look at Rashford and I think at this moment in time, he's that type of player. And he's probably of more value to Manchester United coming off the left-hand side.
I know we've been having a bit of fun, but we shouldn't be in any way, shape or form saying that anybody who is not considered a natural goal scorer is somehow an inferior player to a natural goal scorer.
Not at all. Not at all. No, and I don't think for a minute that would come across, because the one thing we were talking about with Sadio Mane is arguably the player of the year this year so far.
I mean,
Stanley.
The other thing, right now as well, Marcus Rashford, he's already equalled his season's best tally, goals at Manchester United. And we're only just into December.
Correct.
So his game is coming on leaps and bounds if you want to look at goals in terms of the marker.
But again, I mean, you're talking about a young player that everyone is pinning their hopes on, right? Because he's going to not only lead the line for United, but also go up there for England as well. And he should be scoring goals. Like, again, you're talking about he's quick. He can score goals, right? Should he be scoring more goals for me? I think he should, because I think he's got that ability to skip past people and be, I suppose, that little bit more aggressive in that final third. So, again, he should be scoring more goals.
And it's also worth a mention, he scored that amount of goals, as you correct to point out, and not a brilliant Manchester United team. A not bad Manchester United team, but not a brilliant one. He would score goals in a better Manchester United team, and that will hopefully come for himself and Manchester United.
OK, speaking of goal scorers, there's no doubt this fellow was a goal scorer, and he had a very good weekend in charge of his team.
I don't know if I could go through this again, to be honest with you. I need to get my fitness up, that's for sure. The way I was running up and down the touchline. Look, it was just one game at a time for me. That was it. You know, I got asked to come in and step in for Everton. I would never ever turn down Everton Football Club. But I'm realistic as well. It was the game. I'm made up. I'm delighted for the fans. 3 points is massive for us.
Fantastic. You couldn't help but enjoy his enjoyment, could you?
No, I'm thrilled. I mean, I love him. The big man's just magic. It really is. And you watch them on that touchline, you know, in a day and age where supporters are a little bit critical of the lack of emotion showed from their coaches and indeed some of their players.
Lack of connection with the crowd.
Correct. And that's one of the things that I've gone on record as saying, Jeff, you know, the connection or the distance now between the football fan and the player and the manager is as big as it's ever been, but not there. I mean, look at that. I mean, I've got to be honest, the ball boys will be needing danger money nowadays. between him and Mourinho, they'll be needing danger money.
Look, I think for me with Everton is they've spent a lot of money. They've actually got not a bad team.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the one thing that, you know, Everton supporters have cried out for is that lack of passion. You know, that desire, that work rate, that thing. And I'm not saying for 1 minute that they didn't give it to, like, the players didn't give it to Marco Silva, but I said, I watched that game. He was barking orders, he was getting them to get back, and I'm sure not one of the players would not have done what he asked for, right? But again, he was driving them forward, and you could see, like, after coming off from a big defeat from Liverpool, they looked like they hadn't played for a couple of weeks. They were full of energy, and don't get me wrong, I actually felt Chelsea as well were decent. You know, so again, they worked that hard, and they got what they deserved.
The one thing about being at the game, the derby game against Liverpool, I mean, Liverpool were excellent, and it could have been more, in my opinion. But what I would say is about Everton, they did keep going. You know, they got the goal back, and then, you know, Richarlison scored just before half-time to make it 4-2. You know, I was more disappointed in the way West Ham reacted to going, as I say, losing the goals against Arsenal than I was with Everton getting a bit of a going over for Liverpool. I'm looking at everyone, I thought, well, they've got something about them. I think they've got goals on the side with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, so, you know, it's just a matter of getting them going again. And certainly at the weekend, Duncan did that.
Do you think it's also perhaps a little bit unfair? As soon as Duncan Ferguson, it was announced he would be in charge for this game, immediately, we're all part of the media, he's trotting out all the stuff he did as a player, some on the pitch, some off the pitch. He's been working behind the scenes at Everton for 5-6 seasons. He's been part of the under-18 coaching set up with Kevin Sheedy originally, and he has been part of the team, although I don't know how much coaching he's actually done. But do you think it's hard for him to come across as a studious coach and a serious candidate?
If that's the case, it's not his problem because, you know, Duncan Ferguson, the one thing in the interview there, he has enormous love and passion for Everton Football Club. Now, don't let that be misguided or taken away from the fact he's a very intelligent man. And the one thing Big Duncan is, I've known him long enough, he's an intelligent man, so you can separate the two. He's been walking about there with these open and these open for many years it'll be. And as I said, it would be a travesty, a crime, if he's not been picking up things and obviously watching training and watching games. And he will have. I don't have any doubt about it. The fact of the matter that he was put in charge in the first place would tell you that Bill Kenwright certainly and Everton will have belief in him.
Do you go along with that, Harry?
Well, if we look at Everton's history of managers, especially the recent ones, they're very technical. You know, all wanted to play out from the back, all wanted to play beautiful style football. And like I said, they've had the players that can do it or can they not do it. So it's been one of those iffy kind of moves. And they've never really progressed. They've had a season here, but again, they've started slipping down. And then you get someone that, again, walking around for 5-6 years, looking, learning, and just thought, well, hang on a second, if I go back to basics with these players, because he went to a 4-4-2 against Chelsea and just got players playing in their roles, working hard, and he's probably thought, well, if I get them playing in a structure, defend well, work hard, then natural ability will actually take it to that next level. And it showed.
Was he injured at the weekend, the Colombian centre-back? Because I know that
Mina.
They played Holgate and Keane. They played the 3 against Liverpool and it left him out and went straight to 4-4-2, brought Schneiderlin back in. And it certainly looked up, they left Davis out. It certainly looked, watching the game, a lot more solid, 2 banks. And I think with somebody like, as I say, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, I think you've always got an opportunity to score goals.
Now, you said you didn't think Freddie Ljungberg was a candidate. You didn't think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the right fit for Manchester United. Kind of the former player, the returning hero, not necessarily the huge coaching experience.
Yeah.
Would Duncan Ferguson fit into the same mould, or would you check yourself from saying that because of the extraordinary turnaround we saw at the weekend?
That was extraordinary, I have to say. The only thing, bizarrely, that I think will go against, the main thing that will go against Duncan getting the job is Everton's position. You know, they're sitting in the relegation zone, right?
Yep.
It is, listen, it's a massive decision, whoever they appoint. But if they make the wrong appointment and they get relegated, it's just an absolute double disaster. So from that point of view, I think that they'll go for somebody with more experience. Will they take a gamble? You know, the Portuguese lad that was over in China just now, Vitória Pereira, he's
withdrawn.
He's withdrawn, so he's pulled himself out. So you've got the obvious candidates. When I say the obvious ones, the guys that you would think, you know, the David Moyes, and then you go to the next guys, and the Burnley fans won't thank me, Sean Dyche. Bournemouth fans won't like me, Eddie Howe. Sheffield United fans will dislike me even less, Chris Weller. These guys, you know, certainly with David Moyes, you're thinking you're getting a safe pair of hands, and there's no chance of them getting relegated. Because the first thing that Bill Kenwright and Everton right now need to think about is getting away from that relegation zone. It's massive. It's too important.
Well, a very steady pair of hands, experienced managers, just become available because Napoli have just sacked Carlo Ancelotti.
Wow.
Now, that could well change a few thoughts as well at various clubs, but would Everton attract somebody like Carlo Ancelotti? Your gut feel?
No, not at this, not the predicament that they're in at the moment. I don't think so. Like I said, I think first and foremost they need to get back to basics for me, Everton. And like I said, they need to get away from it. And I think a lot of managers will look at it and go, can I turn it round? Can I not turn it round? Are they going to risk it? Like you said, you mentioned Sean Dyche, you mentioned Eddie Howe. Are they going to leave their clubs because they've done so well there to go to another club that's in a bit of turmoil at the moment? I can't see. I mean, again, you look at Duncan Ferguson, like I said, they've got good players. Yeah. Do the players need like a rocket just to get them going?
How different, though, the task? I mean, you both full of admiration for Manchester United and the rampant performance they put up, particularly that first half at the Etihad at the weekend.
Yeah.
How different a prospect, though, rather than rousing Goodison, for Duncan Ferguson to take Everton to Old Trafford this Sunday?
Completely different. Absolutely different. But the one thing that Duncan seems to have got organised and talk about coaches and managers playing to their strengths. Straight away he's changed the formation. He's went 2 banks of 4 and a 2. And the one thing that will get Everton up the league, listen, the one thing that can guarantee them is hard work, organisation, you know, taking your chances, just lifting the level of work rate. I'm looking at Everton against, for example, against Liverpool, and it's a difficult one for them to gauge them because they're playing against, in my opinion, the best team in the league at this moment in time, arguably the best team in Europe. And there's an element of them keeping going. But I thought the shape was all wrong. You know, the fact they took Sidibe off the right back before half time, he's getting up there, and Mane was playing in that hole, and on the right hand side he was leaving. I don't see that happening under Duncan. I just think everybody will go, right, there's your job, 4-4-2. He might change it, he might prove me wrong, but I just see him going 4-4-2, let's go. And he might play an extra midfielder, he might go 4-5-1. But everyone will know their job, and it'll be, you can guarantee, it'll be a hard-working Everton team. But the level of the task is greater, of course.